Hey, and welcome to another episode of All Aware. I am Nathan Roshan, and we have another good program for you tonight. Nicky Billou will be on the show here in a few minutes. He is an entrepreneur, a business coach, a mentor. He has scaled his business to incredible levels. He's also a podcast host. You might know him from the Truth Leader Revolution. I'm sorry, Thought Leader Revolution podcast. And he's going to be on to talk scaling businesses, becoming an entrepreneur, how you can live your own life, what roadblocks come in the way of some people and why they don't end up living their dream or their dreams may seem to fail. And we're going to have more of his insights here in a few minutes. So you stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hey, isn't it time you became all aware? If you like the content Nathan Roshan brings to you on All Aware Podcast, like, follow, and subscribe, and help us bring this information to others by spreading awareness. For more information about the show, visit us online at www.allawarepodcast.com. To give us ideas on upcoming shows, email us at info@allawarepodcast.com.
From the corners of the internet to the wave signals transmitting through your brain, you are now sinking into All Aware, preparing transmission signals. Stand by. Silent scan.
Broadcasting off the grid in Central Texas. This is the All Aware Podcast.
Thank you.
Please stand by for your host, Nathan Roshan.
Hey, and welcome back to All Aware. I'm Nathan Roshan, and I've got Nicky Billou with me here today. And he's you might know him from the Thought Leader Revolution podcast. He's the host of that, author. He's a business coach. So thank you for coming on All Aware today, Nicky. And how are you today?
I'm blessed. I'm grateful. Nathan, thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, of course, man. So can you give us a little bit, podcast host, business, coach, you've done a lot here in the community. And how did you get, a little bit about your childhood? Could you tell us how you got where you are today and involved in all that?
Absolutely. Great question. Thank you. So I'm actually originally an immigrant from the Middle East. I'm a Christian from Iran. When I was 11 years old, the Islamic Revolution took place in Iran. And my late father, God rest his soul, he could see the writing on the wall. This wasn't going to be a place to raise a Christian family. So Dad got together with my mom. They made a plan, and they hustled my brothers and I out of Iran. It took a while, but eventually we settled where I now live in Toronto, Canada. Now, at the time, man, I was a kid. I didn't want to leave my home. I didn't want to leave my friends. But looking back, Nathan, was the single greatest thing Mom and Dad could have done for me and my two brothers. They took us from a legacy of tyranny to a legacy of freedom.
Yeah.
Every man, every woman on this planet desires to be free. Inside the heart of every man and woman beats the living heart of freedom. And you got to understand this. I can see clearly how valuable this is. And I think people here in America, Canada, the West, they don't appreciate how good they got it. It takes an immigrant like me who's lived in tyranny to tell you what you have here is precious. So don't let these scumbags that are in power right now in America that are trying to lie to you and take your freedoms away do it. Because believe me, they will. And the greatest freedom we have is free expression. That means the right to say what you want. It's amazing how the government calls anything they don't like misinformation.
Yeah.
That's a lie. It ain't misinformation. It's just something you don't like to hear. Too bad. First Amendment. God loved the First Amendment. The First Amendment gives rise to free Enterprise. Free enterprise lets you be an entrepreneur, lets you chart your own course, march to the tune of your own drummer, create the business of your dreams, make tons of money, help lots of people. If you believe in entrepreneurship, you must believe in freedom, and you must stand up for great countries like the United States of America that give you those freedoms. That's first and foremost as far as I'm concerned, Nathan.
Nicky, that's great. And I think there's no better time than now to have you on and be able to talk about this stuff, because we do have a lot of stuff going on. And I don't know if you know much about this platform, but we talk about everything. We're very open about anything. We do conspiracies, or what they consider conspiracies, and everything. And I just want to say, I'm glad you're kind of open to talking the truth, because, and you mentioned the government right now is trying to take away freedoms here. And I had another guest on, I believe last year, Victor Zancudo. He's from Venezuela, and he's an immigrant as well. And he has, similar to what you said, we are too privileged here in America and in the West, and able to have these first world problems to where, unfortunately, most of the people in America haven't been outside of America to see what it really is like other places. So is there anything else you can say to Americans who might be battling stupid things like about pronouns, or about this or that are just these menial things? What are some other things that you think we should recognize as Americans and Westerns?
You need to vote for people that believe in freedom. Anybody who believes in pronouns being mandatory is an enemy of freedom. Anybody who thinks that you should fund transgender surgeries for inmates in jails, that person does not believe in freedom. You need to get her out of office. You need to get the fella in office who, when he was here, did good things for the country and the world. No wars, just 4 or 5 years ago, there was no wars. Inflation was low. Gas cost under $2 a gallon. You could make $70,000 a year and buy a home. Right now, you got to make $150,000 a year to buy a home in America, man. That's nuts. That's nuts. It's the pronoun people police that are trying to make this happen for you, so you can't own anything. You got to do whatever the hell they want you to do, man. That stuff is messed up. That's some serious messed up stuff, bro. That's what you got to understand. You got to be in favor of the people that are in favor of freedom. My late father was an entrepreneur, man. If you met him, Nathan, you would love him.
Oh, I know it.
If you were trying to find work, Dad would sit you down in his office. He'd call all his entrepreneur buddies till somebody gave you a job. If you were trying to start a business, he'd sit you down in his office. He'd listen to you. He'd give you his best advice. He'd put you in touch with advisors, with bankers to get you capital. He'd get you in touch with customers, even if you were competing with him, because he didn't believe in competition anyways. If you were trying to buy a car or a house and you didn't have quite enough money, Dad would top you up with a loan because the bank wouldn't give you enough, and he'd never let you pay it back. People would always say to me, man, come on, this sounds too good to be true, man. Nobody does this for real. I said, no, my dad did this. They said, why would he do it? What's in it for him? And I go, easy. He was a devout Christian. He believed he'd been blessed by his Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And it was his duty to share those blessings with other people.
Absolutely.
Secondly, he did it because he was successful. He was rich. He could. I wanted to be like my father. I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I wanted to be somebody people looked up to. I wanted to help people. I wanted to get them jobs. I wanted to get them businesses going. I wanted to be able to give them money so they could buy a car or a house. Because my dad was my hero. My dad would always tell me every day, Nathan, son, life is a people's game. It's not a numbers game. And I go, okay, Dad. And he'd say, business even, son, is a people's game, not a money game. I go, come on, Dad. Without money, you can have no business. He said, that's true, son. Very true. But without people, there's no need for money. Because all business is solving problems for people. You solve problems for people, you make a profit. That's it. You solve acute problems for amazing people, you make an awesome profit. That's the awe-inspiring purpose of business.
Yeah.
Imagine the Venn diagram. That's all it is. And Dad would say to me, that's all it is, son. And he said, remember, that man standing in front of you, that's someone's son, that's someone's brother, that's someone's husband, that's someone's father. That's a hero to somebody. They got hopes, they got dreams, they got fears, they got disappointments. Maybe even someone just like you disappointed them in business. Your job is to restore his faith in humanity. That's your job.
Mm-hmm.
He said, believe in people, son, because people need someone to believe in them. Every man, every woman on this planet has moments where their self-belief wobbles. And all it takes is someone like you with a spark of belief to turn it into a roaring fire. That's it. That's all.
That's amazing, man. And I'm glad you're out here spreading that word too, because a lot of people didn't have that father, didn't have those inspirations growing up to be able to do that. So thank you for saying that. And if you're listening, that's 100% true. So, take his advice here, so let's go into the free market, because right now we're in a battle also. There's a lot of Marxist beliefs. There's a lot of communist type beliefs, socialist types beliefs that the younger generation, and some even trickling up the chain to the older generations now, are starting to think, oh yeah, maybe that's the way to go. But in my opinion, I think you have a similar opinion, it might not be. Could you go a little bit about why free market's important?
Yeah, buddy, listen, Marxism is tyranny. That's all it is. It's somebody out there with power telling you what you can and can't do. It's an excuse to have you willingly give away your agency and sovereignty as a free man and a free woman. That's all it is. Socialism is the devil's handiwork. Socialism is straight up evil. Anyone says they're a socialist, they believe in socialism, they're evil. They're evil or they're deluded, one or the other. Right?
But free housing, free medical, free everything, right?
Yeah, it's bullshit. There's no such thing, man.
Yeah.
You got to work for everything in life. Everything in life. Nothing comes for free. You give those freedoms away, man, you have paid a price, an immense price. You are never going to be able to live a life of your own design. You're going to be someone else's pawn, someone else's bitch. Is that what you want to be? Someone else's pawn, someone else's bitch? Because I got to tell you, I ain't nobody's bitch. I'm my own man. And that's the way I want to live. That's the way you should want to live.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So you often discuss thought leadership. Can you tell us a little bit about what you mean by thought leadership?
That's a great question. I'm going to illustrate it with a story, okay?
Okay, please.
I had a client. His name was Carl Kramer. Carl used to be an executive vice president at a major manufacturing concern here in Ontario, Canada. And Carl did really well. He made $350,000 a year as an executive vice president. But he was burnt out. They were working him 50, 60 or more hours a week. So he decided to quit, right? And instead he became an executive business coach. And now he found he loved being an executive business coach. He was working way fewer hours, 25, 30 hours a week. He loved the difference he was making for people. He loved everything about it except for one thing. He took an 80% haircut. He went from $350,000 to $70,000 a year. And he had met a client of mine who was a personal fitness trainer that I took from $1,200 a month to $1.2 million a year. All right. And
nice.
Yeah. With my help, great things happen for business owners and businessmen and women who are willing to work. And Carl came and said, hey, I heard you helped Dan, and I'd like to talk to you. I said, all right. He said, tell me a bit about your business. Tell me a little bit about your, what you do and how you help people. And I told him, and he said, okay, I think I could use your help. And I said, all right, it's your turn. You tell me a bit about your business. He said, well, I'm a business coach. I can help anybody with any business problem. Now that is mistake number one. Nope, don't pass go, don't collect $200, right? You try to be all things to all people. You're not a thought leader. You're nobody. You're an expert. You're a dime a dozen. What you need to do is you need to solve one problem for one particular group of people really, really well. So we did an exercise with him. We drew a Venn diagram, and in the first circle we wrote the clients you got the best results for. In the second circle we wrote the clients you enjoyed working with the most. In the third circle we wrote the clients you were able to do business with the smoothest, the easiest. So the best results for we asked Carl, what kind of results did you get for these clients? You know, specifically, what were the outcomes? And then how did that impact your client? Did they believe in themselves more? Did they have more self-confidence? Did they have more energy? So he wrote all that out. Then the clients he enjoyed working with the most. So who are these clients you enjoyed working with the most? What did you enjoy about working with them? What made it so pleasurable? What was the impact on you to work with this type of client? Were they especially coachable? Were they especially easygoing? Were they especially kind of action taking? Were they fun? Were they easy? Were they, you know, what was it? And then finally, who were the clients who were easiest to do business with? Who were the clients that said yes right away, who paid you in full, who paid you right away, who liked to give you lots of referrals? How did that make you feel? So Carl went through this whole exercise. It took a while to go through this exercise because you'd work with quite a few people, right? You had to make a little profile of everybody. But we finally found out that there was a bunch of clients that fell in all three buckets. They tended to be men, kind of younger than 45. They owned law firms, solo practitioner law firms, and they did well. They were like high six figures, early seven figures, but they were hungry to do better. Every single one of them wanted to make 8 figures, 9 figures and more. So that was his ideal client. So we created messaging for him for that ideal client. Before you know it, within 6 months, Carl went from making $70,000 a year to making $50,000 a month, $600,000 a year. He still only worked 20, 30 hours a week, but he became known as the go-to guy in his space that helped lawyers, solo practitioner lawyers, take their business from tragic to magic. That's thought leadership. When you know how to solve a real problem, so you're not full of crap, right? You're not an Instagram influencer who can't really do anything real, but you also have shown the market that you are the go-to person in the space. And that's when you can take your income from, you know, $6,000 a month to $50,000 a month, almost a tenfold increase.
Wow.
And work the same amount of time. With our help, all things are possible for entrepreneurs who are ready to work.
Wow. So you run a business coaching service, is kind of what you're alluding to there when you're saying you can help. It's through your company there.
My company's called eCircle Academy. And what we do is we provide workshops, programs, and masterminds, which include coaching for entrepreneurs. Most of our entrepreneurs make under $1 million a year, but they really are interested in growing. The average person who works with us is making somewhere between $150,000 and $250,000 a year. And they're very interested in doubling that, fourfolding that, tenfolding that. They are not brand new to business. They tend to be over the age of 45, but there are some that are younger.
Sure.
And they are very coachable. They are very interested in learning and growing and developing, and they are very willing to invest in themselves. Those are our clients.
Yeah, that's amazing. You know, I'm in a couple of different lines of work, and one of them, you know, I was never good at sales. You know, I'm good at talking to people, but I never felt good at sales. And I'm a part-time in the financial industry, and that's one thing I always struggled with. So I like to ask, I know sales can be intimidating for a lot of people, because as soon as you hear, I have to go sell this, I have to do this, intimidation usually comes over a lot of people where they feel like they have to get to a driven result and they're nervous and things. But can you kind of share an example of maybe how you look at sales, or any kind of stories or anything related to how you can make sales less intimidating? I know you do some work into that as well with your clients?
So that's a really good question. Most people that have what I call, micro businesses under $1 million a year, that's like a small business, right? The small business can be as big as like 30 million a year, right? So this is a really micro business, small business. They are people who tend to be really good-hearted people, but a little bit naive about business. You know what I mean? They don't understand business. They don't have a background in it. And in particular, sales and marketing scare the crap out of them. The idea of selling makes them go, oh my God, I don't want to sell. I don't want to be seen as pushy. I don't want to be seen as salesy. I don't be one of these guys. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to be one of those guys. Right?
Yeah.
So here's the problem with that. They don't get business. They don't make money, right? They should go after business and they should get some business from certain people, but they don't. That hurts them, right? It also hurts the person that they could have helped because they actually had a solution for them, but they don't go out there and give it to them, right? So instead, that person will be sold by a charlatan marketer, somebody with zero delivery skills, but excellent sales skills. They'll go and sell them. They'll take their money and they won't deliver shit. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And everybody loses. You lose because, your business doesn't make money that you could have used. The client loses because they still have the problem. It's not solved. Even the charlatan loses because what goes around comes around and it will bite them in the butt eventually. So here's what I do. I teach people how to reframe selling. Sales is not a 4-letter word, at least not a 4-letter word that starts with like S and ends with T, right? It's a 4-letter word that starts with L and ends in E, love. Sales is love. Sales is service.
It's awesome. Yeah.
The reason you look at sales as starting with S and ending in T is because you're putting all the attention on yourself. You're wondering, oh my God, I have to sell. Oh crap. Oh shit. Oh God. I wonder if they're going to buy from me. I wonder if they're going to like me. What if they think I'm one of those pushy assholes? What if they don't buy from me because they think I'm one of those pushy assholes? What if I'm really one of those pushy assholes? What if I stink of commission breath before I even walk the room because I need the sale so bad? All that attention is on you. It doesn't belong on you. It belongs on the customer. You should be thinking about them and not you. None of that crap should be in your head. Instead, you should be thinking, wow, I wonder what that fella's going through. I wonder what will happen if he doesn't solve his problem. Is he going to lose his marriage? Is he going to lose his kids? It's really, really important, Nathan, for you to take the attention off yourself and put it on the other person. When the attention's on the other person, that's when you can truly, truly sell. Because then it doesn't feel like it's pushy or pressure or yucky. Then it feels like, hey, I'm doing something good for somebody good.
Wow. Yeah. So you basically, you treat people like people.
Go figure, right? Go figure. Go figure. I had a woman client of ours, and the idea of selling gave her the heebie-jeebies, man. And when I started to tell her, put the attention on the other person, first time she couldn't do it. Second time she was kind of able to do it. Third, fourth, fifth time she totally put the attention on the other person. She called me so excited when they said, they bought. I don't believe it. They bought. I go, stop saying that. You believe it. Okay, I believe it. Why'd they buy? All I did was talk to them about them and how terrible it was to be in their situation. And I knew I could help them, and I told them I could help them, and I really stood for them. And I go, and you're surprised that they saw that? She said, well, I guess not. I guess, yeah, they did see that. And that's why they bought from me. I go, yeah, that's why they bought from you. You should sell things to people who need them. You shouldn't try to sell shit to people who don't need it. It's that simple.
Wow. That's great information, man.
It is.
So what do you think the biggest misconception is about business ownership or scaling your business?
People don't understand how much ownership you need to take to win. It's on you. No one's coming to rescue your ass, man. It's on you. You want to win? Then you make a decision that you're going to win. Don't wait for nobody to save you. No one's coming here to save you. No one's coming here to save you.
Yeah.
You got to save yourself. Society is teaching us to be pussies and victims. They're raising victims. People who are victorious, they raise themselves.
Yeah, that's a good point. I like that. Yeah. Wow. So what would you give somebody, what kind of advice would you give somebody who is listening to these words and wants to get involved, maybe start a business, how they can do that?
Well, there are 4 qualities you must have to be successful. Quality number 1 is decisiveness. You can't be a tire kicker. You got to say, this is it, I'm doing it. Tire kickers aren't action takers. You need to be an action taker. Decide and take action. Secondly, you need to be committed. And that means you need to understand that you're going to suck at it at first. Suck is a technical business term. Right? And when you start a business or you start selling, you are going to be so bad at first, but you're going to learn. And then you're going to go from being horrible to just being bad. Then you're going to learn some more. And then you're going to go from being bad to being mediocre or average. But you're going to learn some more. And then you're going to go from mediocre or average to being decent. Then you're going to learn some more. And then you're going to go from being decent to being good, actually good. And you're going to learn some more. And then you're going to go from being good to being great. And then you're going to learn some more. And then you're going to be the best that ever was. And you're going to still learn some more. Because that's the process of commitment. So, a year and a half ago, I weighed 227 pounds. I had my shirt off and I saw my belly hanging out over my jeans. I was a fat fuck. I was disgusted with myself. My woman is beautiful, slim, and I was disappointed and ashamed and embarrassed that I was looking the way I was. I made a decision that I was going to change it, and I committed to get help. I hired a coach. It took me 6 months, but I dropped 58 pounds. I went from 227 to 169.
Nice.
Because I knew I was going to be bad at it before I was great at it. And then I kept working with the guy, and I did a bodybuilding competition.
Nice. Wow.
At the age of 57, I came in third competing against 35-year-olds.
Wow.
Bro, I'm 57 and I have abs. Abs. 8-pack, ripped, shredded. Why? Do you know it's harder over the age of 50 to get abs than it is to make multi-millions? Do you know that?
Yeah. I know it gets harder. I didn't know it was that hard.
It's 8.5 times harder over the age of 50 to get abs than to make $5 million.
Wow.
8.5 times harder.
Wow. Huh.
So if I can do that, what else can I do? And if I can do that, what can you do? A young buck. You should go get abs. The fuck you waiting for? Go get abs. You should go make $5 million. What the fuck you waiting for? Go make $5 million. Stop fucking looking and going, oh, woe is me, I can't do it. Fuck that bullshit. You're a goddamn man. Stand up on your own 2 feet, make a decision, and get it done. Get it done. And if you need help, hire help. Get friends around you who think like you. Don't hang around losers. Hang around winners.
That's right. That's right.
That was
So,
all practical business language that I just used.
yeah, that's the boardroom motivational speech, right?
Technical business language, Nathan.
Yeah. So I don't hear anything about comfort zone in any of this.
Comfort zone is where your dreams go to die.
Yep. I gotcha. I know a lot of people are afraid to get out of that comfort zone, and they think that they can still maximize profit and just life decisions and dreams in that, but it sounds like that's not the case.
No, you cannot. You cannot be in your comfort zone and live a life that you love. You're either going to have comfort or you're going to have a great life. Pick.
So do you think anybody can, under the right circumstances, anybody is able to become wealthy or a millionaire, let's say, if they want to be? Some people don't desire that, but most people
didn't
do.
I just tell you it's 8.5 times harder after the age
Yeah.
of 50 to get abs than it is to make $5 million?
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
I'm 57 now. I was 55 when I started this journey. If I can have abs at my age, you can make $5 million.
Nice.
It's 8.5 times easier for you to make $5 million than it was for me to get abs. Are you 8.5 times lazier than I am?
I hope not.
There you go.
So I guess the last thing I would kind of ask is just, do you have any kind of final thoughts or insights you'd like to share, with the audience or the listeners of how they can transform their lives?
So I said you got to have decision and commitment, right? The next thing you got to have is you got to be coachable, and you got to invest in yourself. You have to invest in yourself. People don't invest in themselves. You have to hire coaches, join masterminds, do courses. You have to read books. You can't do it any other way. You're the most important asset in your life and in your business. If you're not willing to invest in yourself, you're done. But if you are willing to invest in yourself, you'll grow. If you want to double your income this year, triple your investment in personal and professional development. Triple it. Robin Sharma said that. Author of The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. Triple it. Right now, triple it. Can you do that? Sure you can. Sure you can. Right now.
Awesome. Where can the audience get a hold of you if they want to check out your material and book you for a session?
On any social media platform, enter my name, @Nicky Billou. I am the one, the only, the legendary Nicky Billou on this planet. There are no others. And if you want to book time with me, go to ecircleacademy.com/appointment. And you'll get on my calendar and we'll talk about how to move you from apathy to action.
That's right. And that's right. That's Nicky Billou for you guys. So I encourage you to go check out his website, check him out on social media, and get your life in order. And like always, this has been another episode of All Aware, and you are all aware. Good night.
Is it time you became all aware? Unlock the truth if you really dare. With HB, let your mind declare the mysteries we share. Medical wonders from the future's hand.